Well, hello and welcome, Class of 94. Welcome to this next edition, the third, I believe, in our series of Class of 94 video letters. Cameron James here with me. Dan Carell is my producer and videographer behind the scenes. And it's really my pleasure to introduce our guest, our host, our featured guest for this particular class letter, Teresa Harland. Teresa, hello.
Good to see you.
Thank you for playing along with us and being a part of this. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. In typical format, what we do here is I'm gonna pepper her with a couple of like rapid fire questions. They'll take us back to some of our memories and days, and then we'll kind of get into more of a let's actually catch up and find out what's been going on with you and your life, and then we'll go back to some fun nostalgia kind of stuff, and we'll call it a wrap.
Sounds great.
All right. So here's a rapid round. What was your freshman year dorm room? I have the grib ready to back you if for accuracy.
Norelius, third floor.
Freshman?
I don't remember the room number. I'm going to say 308, but I don't know if that's right.
You're so close. One off. 309 Norelius H. And what is the address listed
For my home?
for your home? in
Oh,
the grib?
Nome, North Dakota, Rural Route 1, Box 58.
Box 58. Or Nome, of course. Right. It's like you should probably have remembered
know
that one.
that.
Okay. Here's the next one up. What were you wearing in your senior class photo? I'll refer next to the yearbook for this one. What were you wearing, if you remember, in your senior class photo?
The senior class photos weren't, we only have from the shoulder up.
I know.
So strictly speaking, she could say
A
She
shirt.
could say,
lots.
yes.
I don't know.
I hope so.
So here it is.
I'm gonna say
Do you remember?
Some sort of turtleneck.
You were right. Oh, one of those
and I got
low
like a
turtlenecks
cowl
with
neck,
big hoop earrings.
hoop earrings, claw hair. Oh,
Look,
what
claw-
was
I
it?
was going to say,
Claw
where had
bangs.
we gone with the hair?
Claw bangs.
Can we see it? Can we show it for
Yeah.
for our
Bangs.
viewers
Here
at home?
it is. Is there?
There we go.
Oh.
I can, yeah,
Is that
good.
my center
I think
map
we can
well?
see it. Yeah.
All right, good. Here's next. What did you do during the Halloween snowstorm?
Okay, so true colors. When it started to snow, we knew we were going to get a ton of snow. I had my car, dug my car out, made a beeline to the liquor store so that we had booze for the weekend.
So you could boost the weekend in case you got snowed on top
Which
of the
we
hill.
did,
Not able
yes.
to go.
Do you remember anything else that happened?
Probably not.
Well, I think at about the same time, maybe earlier that fall. Do you remember there was a weekend? I think it was on a Friday or it might have been a Saturday night where the power went out.
Oh,
Different weekend, not because it was snowing. Do you have
okay.
any recollection of what you were
No,
doing when the power went out?
no.
Okay. Sometimes people are like,
Okay.
oh, totally remember that night.
No.
Last thing, do you remember getting anything unusual or of note in the PO?
I'm going to go with getting chocolate chip cookies from my mother. That was always lovely when I
Good.
got those in the PO.
Excellent.
I got
Right.
some other things in the PO, but we won't go
We
there.
won't go there, but I know goodies from home.
Goodies from
always
home.
the best.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll come back to some nostalgic questions, but I want to start with asking you to share a little bit about where we are.
Sure. So we're taping this at the new Minneapolis HQ for Our Rescue. And Our Rescue is a global nonprofit that fights against human sex trafficking and child exploitation. And I have the privilege, quite frankly, of being the Senior Vice President of Advancement, which means I run the fundraising operation. For some people who know me, they know that I have been in fundraising a majority of my career. I spent 13 years at Gustavus after being a student, and worked 6 of those in enrollment as well as the last 7 in advancement. And then moved on to Concordia College up in Moorhead and ran their fundraising operation for 11 years. So it's kind of been where I found my space and what I think I'm remotely good at. So I got a call about a year ago from the CEO, and she said, I need somebody to raise the money for this organization, and I can't imagine doing it without you. And I took a leap, and here I am.
There's something
doing
about
this work.
the combination of a leap and a phone call.
Yeah.
Right? Someone
Yeah.
reached out and said,
Yeah.
you're the person.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's hyperbole in this day and age of a lot of where you land and how you climb in life is certainly due to hard work. Don't get me wrong, but it also is who you know.
Yeah.
At least how that first store gets
And the reputation that you've left
Yeah.
behind you,
Yeah.
that's a testament
Yeah.
to your,
Yeah.
you say, your talents and skills in this area.
Yeah.
You said somewhat, I would say,
Yeah.
very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us, what else would you share with the class in terms of just other life updates?
Sure.
What else?
Sure. So maybe a little bit more about Our Rescue. So Our
Yeah.
Rescue, as I mentioned, is a global nonprofit. We're in 31 countries. We really do our work around 3 pillars. We work alongside law enforcement in all the countries, and we actually go along and do operations. So we are that organization that, is, I don't want to say busting down doors, but we are on operations. We're going in and we are doing actual rescues. And then we also have survivor care. So when we do a rescue and there's a minor or an adult that happens to be trafficked, then our survivor care team comes in, goes right to work, and stays with that survivor through their entire experience, whether that's whether that's for 24, 48 hours, to the point of getting them into a shelter that we work with, and then following them through their healing journey. That healing journey could be, like I said, 48 hours to 3 years.
Yeah.
Every survivor is unique on their journey. And then we have an education and training pillar. So we go all around the world training on what is human trafficking, what are the signs and symbols. We do a lot of work with transportation and hospitality industries. We're in healthcare, we're in churches, we're in schools. We talk a lot about keeping your kids safe online, right? Like, I talk a lot about, as parents, we talk to our children about not talking to anybody at the park, don't talk to strangers, but we don't do a very good job about talking to strangers on their phone. And there is a stranger in your house every day on your child's phone. And it is really important to talk about keeping yourself safe on your phone. So we do a lot of education around that. Yeah, so loving this job, been in it for a year, have gotten the ability to travel around the nation and the world. So spent some time in Asia and Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand. Have had the opportunity to be a part of operations there. Have been to Ecuador and Buenos Aires, Argentina. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind first year, I will say that. But if you can't get up to do this mission every day, then I would say you don't have a soul.
No, I so much of what you're describing, super important and really impressive.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Yeah. And the whirlwind for sure, but
Good
right, you're up for it. You're up for the challenge of it.
Yeah.
Anything on sort of a
life
family front?
Right.
What does that look like?
Fair enough. So I have an 18-year-old son.
Yeah.
So he will graduate in May. He is going to stay at least for, I think, his first 2 years, probably a little closer to home. Will stay in North Dakota to go to school, but is going to study cybersecurity, which I'm super pumped about because there's a need across the world, across so many industries to do cybersecurity. So that's what he's going to do. So we'll get him launched off into college. I've lived, the last 16 years in lovely Moorhead, Minnesota. Once I get that kid launched, I'm moving to the Twin Cities because I will office out of here. I split my time between Salt Lake City and here. So I'm up for my next adventure.
Absolutely.
And moving to a bigger metro area and making Minneapolis home.
Yeah. Many of us are either empty nested or soon to be, or I'm in company and ourselves included. And it is the time to ask, what is my next adventure? Exactly. Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I wish headquarters would have been in Florida.
Yeah. There you go.
I didn't win that war.
Some battles are worth winning, others aren't.
Exactly.
Let me get back into some of this stuff. Thank you so much for some of that and for some of those updates in your life.
Sure.
So tell us where one of your roommates is now.
Yeah, okay. So Robin Bittner is running wealth management in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So we keep in touch here and there, but she's doing great work and is back at home in her in where she grew up, and always fun to see her.
That's awesome.
So-
Good. Give one sentence of advice to your 22-year-old graduating self.
Yeah, maybe take college a little bit more serious.
Hmm?
Yeah. If I could do college all over, I would, and I would do it very differently. I think I was too worried about having fun as opposed to kind of soaking in all of the learning and opportunities. I wish I would have thrown myself into some things that I was scared to do at that time. So I would do college very, very different if I had to do it again.
Any specific ideas if you were to go back, like that activity or that club or that? It's further down my list here, so I'll just jump to it.
Yeah, maybe
specific
not.
do-over.
A specific, Cameron, so many. I don't know if I can speak to specificity
Sure.
around a certain organization. I would have shown up better as a student.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think I would have had other opportunities that were afforded to me that that's on me, right? But I would have been a better student.
Yeah.
Yep.
In a similar vein, did you attend any conferences, Nobel conferences? Any of the speakers?
Yeah. Well, probably as an employee. 17 of them, or not 17 of them, probably 13 of them. I went every year
For
as
sure,
an
as an
employee.
Yeah.
And I remember the genetics guy. I'm gonna fail on his name, but I just remember being so excited that he was on our campus. He was the genome guy, and he had figured out the genome, and we hosted him. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Nobel was amazing again as an employee. Probably never went as a student.
That was the second question. Is like as a student, did you? I think I attended one. It was because it was assigned.
Wasn't it 2 days off?
It was assigned, and I had to write a paper about it. I do remember the Carl Sagan sighting down in the lower level by our POs.
Sure.
He went by in a wheelchair. People like I think it was the chaos theory.
Sure.
Chaos theory.
Okay. Yeah.
Think back to your world travels recently, or not so recently. What's the best place you've visited in the last 20 years? Or one of?
Yeah, I would say my top two would be Croatia and Florence.
Croatia and Florence, and in one sentence for either one, why? What was the highlight?
I mean, Florence, Italy is just utterly beautiful. I love the food. I love the people. I love the art. I love the history. I love that city. Croatia was fun to go to. I did that last summer, and I wanted to get to Croatia because I think it's still a little bit of a gem in the rough. Americans are certainly finding it, but the countryside, the cliffs, the water is just utterly gorgeous. And I was not a Game of Thrones.
I was about to ask, were you a Game of Thrones fan?
I haven't watched one Game of Thrones.
Put it on the map.
But there's a Game of Thrones store on every corner. But that's not why I went.
That's not why I went.
Yeah.
What's one good habit you developed during COVID?
Yeah, I read that question, Cameron, and I didn't have an answer for that. I think probably a little bit more discipline. I had to, become the teacher of my child for quite a while.
Yeah.
And we had to work really hard to kind of create some discipline and some organization around how the day was going to go. And I would also say figuring out how to celebrate the small things. Like part of our day was at the end of the day, we would go on a walk, and that was PE, right? And no one could pick if we were going to play hockey in the driveway, or if we were going to go for a walk, or if we were going to shoot hoops. And we would do the highs and lows of the day. And trust me, there was a lot of crying in our house because I'm not meant to be a teacher. But it was learning to celebrate the simple things that went really well and letting go of the things that didn't go so well.
Yeah. What parts of you hurt that never used to hurt?
Everything.
I'm asking that question now that we're all in our early 50s.
Yeah.
Name a part that hurts that used to hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. My back hurts. Yeah. My knees hurt. last week I was on PTO and I was in Scottsdale. I'd taken Nolan there for spring break, and I had been to Phoenix thousands of times, I feel like, but I'd never committed to climbing Camelback. And I was like, I'm doing it on this trip. I'm climbing Camelback, and I did Echo Canyon. Well, there's a part of Echo Canyon, like you're on your knees and you're climbing that rock. Yeah, I still hurt.
You still hurt a little bit from that?
From that.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, maybe lastly here, if you could eat one more meal in the 92 calf, or 3 calf, or 94 calf, you pick the year, but what's one calf meal you would go back and have again?
You know, I read that question and I was like, I got nothing that just jumps out. What jumps out would be, what I loved about the calf was the ice cream. We always had like 2 or 3 different, barrels of ice cream. So I would probably just make myself a lovely bowl of ice cream.
Yeah, with a couple of those big snickerdoodle cookies.
Yeah. Chocolate. Yeah.
Teresa, this is great. Thank you. Thank you for
welcome.
taking some time with us and with your class to catch up.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for
It's been a
doing
pleasure
this.
to catch up, and back to just really congratulating you on this important and great work that you're doing here. This is
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Well, we should leave our 1994 Gusties with the task of participate in your class, right?
Yes. Yes. You say it.
Of course, we are biased, but we love our class, and we have had so many amazing people come out of the 1994 class that are doing great work. I would invite all of us to participate, whether that's volunteering, showing up for a reunion, sending your kids to Gustavus, or giving back. Right? We have an awesome 1994 endowed scholarship. Whether you give $50, $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000. We want to make sure that a Gustavus education is affordable to anybody who wants to go there. So I'd invite people to participate and give back to your class.
And to tack on that, I'd close this with an invitation. In the email that this video is embedded in, you will see some pieces of updates and campus news and events and goings on in that email, as well as an opportunity. If you have news yourself, continue to pass that along. The alumni office will gather that together for us, and we can get that back out to you. Including, if you have an idea of someone you'd like to see interviewed in this, let us know. We'll reach out to that person. Up to and including, if you want to interview that person yourself, go for it. We can either help facilitate that, or just shoot the video and send us the video file, and we'll figure it out from there and incorporate it into one of these. So with that, as Teresa said, we look forward to seeing you at some point, whether it's at homecoming or an upcoming reunion. Otherwise, would be good to gather and good to see you again at some point down the line. Thank you all. Take care.